Hey folks, this is Crappie Dale and welcome to our Jig Time Tip of the Week. Today I'm going to attempt to tie on a 1/16 ounce regular sickle hook. It's a number 4 bronze today. Most of the time I tie premium sickle hooks, but I've got a little project I'm working on, so I'm going to tie on bronze. What I like to do is, you can see I've already tied on my flasher bow and I've already got my first round of thread on here. Now what we're going to focus on is building a body to suit the diameter of your chenille that you put your wrap on here, because you don't want to over bake it, so to speak. And what I'm talking about by that is getting way too much chenille on there, dwarf your body. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put on our feather. Now what I like to do when I'm selecting the feather is, and sometimes it's hard to do, especially with the feathers now today, they've just about is what I like to do is I like to take the feather, pick out a real full feather. Let's see if we can find one here. And of course it's going to be hard to find a full feathers all the way through your feather that you get. So, but here's what I like to do is I like to pick out feather. Once I get that feather, I like to take the tip of my scissors and I like to go in there and I like to select right about where I want to cut it. Now the ticket to cutting these feathers is you want to cut them the distance from where the ball of the head is up vertical where the tip of the hook is, the length there. So from here to here is what you want your length of your feather when you tip it out. This is what I do. Now I'm not saying that all you guys have to tie them like this, but this is what I do. So I come in here and I tip that feather just like this right here. I want 2 in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and from that point on I'm going to go ahead and tip it up again. Same length right there. Then I'm going to turn and I'm going to lay it down on top of each other just like so. I'm going to turn it like this. I'm going to make a blow on it that way I get everything on the back side of it all the way down, and then I'm going to lay it down on there, and as I lay it down on there I'm going to start my wrap. Now a lot of guys will say, "Oh, Crappie Dale, how do you get that fluff look, that fluff pattern?" Well, here's what I do. I wet the tip of my fingers, I pull the feathers back, I push them forward till you get that pinch look. Then I slowly start to wrap over that pinch look, and here's what you come out with. You get that fluff feather look. Now at this point I like to come back in here and cut my flasher bow. I usually cut it just under the distance of my feathers. Okay, well, once I've done that, then I'm looking for my chenille. So I pick me out a piece of chenille, cut it or trim it off. Normally I leave the bulk of my skein on here, but today, since I'm doing this video, I take and I nip. Okay, I come in here and I nip the end of that chenille just like this. I turn my scissors and I pull it off just like that. Okay, now lick the end of that. Okay, give you a nice spring fresh cut. Come around like this and wrap it on, and then once again I grab my feather and my chenille and I bear down on the back. It gives it that tapered look. I wrap it up, and here's where I start making my body. So give me a minute. I put a lot of wrap on here, and the reason for it is because I got a certain body that I make. Yeah. We want a little bit heavier body, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to give it a little bit heavier body. I'm going to stop and check it and make sure everything's right. I don't got too much on it. Once it's all done, it'll be even all the way across. That's about where I want it. Okay, so I'm going to come back. Now once I do this, I'm going to go ahead and finish this. We'll make a wrap, come back around, pull it down, I'm going to cut it off just right underneath there, giving me just a little bit of tagging showing. Okay, here's where I'm going to put on my wrap. Then I'm going to add a little glue right underneath there where I put my tag in. Go all the way across to the bottom. And as I make my wrap over the jig, then it'll stick. Okay, here we go. So we make our wraps. Now that first wrap, I'm going to pile it on top of the other. That way I get me a start going all the way across. And you'll see just right here real quick how my jig is level all the way across. Then I'm going to start again. Now this is the dual wrap, okay? I'm not putting just one wrap on there. I'm going to put a dual wrap on. So then the next thing is to layer the width right up the seam of this chenille. Half of that I'm going to lay over on the other side of my additional wrap. So I'm going to lay that over, just like this right here. You'll see it'll come out real nice and pretty and tight. And also, keep in mind, put some tension on that now. Put some tension on it. It's real important to put a lot of tension on the chenille. Okay, now I'm going to add a little drop of glue. Now a lot of you guys say, well, Crappie Dale, why are you overlapping in the back? Why are you tying in the back? Well, the reason why I do, because there's virtually any way possible that you can get a double wrap on there without doing that. So and then I tap that glue and I roll it over, just like that right here, straight up and down. Give it a little pull down there while it's drying, and man, it's going to come out real nice. Okay, once it does and once it dries, I'll show you a little technique that I use to where you trim off your chenille. Okay, now you can use a razor blade. You want to be careful. You don't want to leave them around on the table where kids and everybody else can get to them. So just keep that in mind. I do use a razor blade, but since I have children, I have to do it at my shop. Okay, and what I like to do is I like to grab this and pull it very slightly up to the point of where it stops, and that's usually where the glue dries. Then I like to take my scissors and apply pressure. So apply some pressure and just barely snip it off. And once you do that, you can't see it at all. Okay? Now you say, well, how's that going to stay on there? Well, believe me, it does. It doesn't come off. Okay, and there you have it. Finished product right there. Can't beat that. And that was the Crappie Dale's Fishing Jig Time Tip of the Week. I hope you enjoyed that. Will be a lot more videos to come. This is just kind of a crash or starter video. Wouldn't even consider it 101, but I promised that I'd do this because there's a bunch of humongous amount of people and emails out there that are asking for how to do this. So, there you go.